Seriously, like we look throughout this draft,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's been every other pick or every pick has been a wing, you know, and it's valuable. And I think, again, Caleb is a guy that you're going to bring in and you're going to slowly develop him. Hell, the way that the Orlando Magic is constructed, he might come in and play some valuable minutes right away.
Well, the Toronto Raptors are back on the clock now, but I want to take a look. So much of the draft, right, is the great moments that we get to see. So I want to take a look at tonight's surprisingly great moment that's brought to you by State Farm. Since last year's draft, we saw Scotty Barnes defy assumptions, go from an unexpected pick to the Rookie of the Year last season, the third in franchise history. Vince Carter, our colleague and friend, was one of them. And then also we saw Fred VanVleet have an all-NBA third-team selection. We talked about this with the Miami Heat, Jay, but Toronto is, again, another one of those programs that just has a track record of churning out these excellent young players. What is it about their program?
Well, they've made some really good decisions, too. I mean, Scotty Barnes, I think we knew he was going to go top 5 or 6. He wound up going 4th. I mean, it wasn't a huge jump for him, but I think it was a little bit surprising to a lot of people that he turned out to be Rookie of the Year, given the talent that came out of that draft.
Yeah.
But, you know, they went with, he's such a good defender. And looking at some of these players, guys that are versatile and can shoot it. And, you know, Scotty Barnes could make a shot. I think he's going to be a better shooter and is continuing to improve in that area. But the versatility, the length, his ability to rebound, handle the ball, play as a point guard. I mean, you mentioned it. All these athletic wings seem to be dominating the draft. And, you know, it used to be big guys.
Right.
You're taking big guys. You had to have a center, and you had to have power up front. And now you got to have skill and be able to stretch the floor and stretch a defense.
And be two-way players. And, again, I want to give credit to Masai Ujiri. In my opinion, might have the best eye in the game of basketball when it comes down to evaluating talent and drafting talent and making that talent, you know, and getting that talent in the organization, and they have the ultimate success, right? You look at a guy that he didn't draft and picked up for his Fred VanVleet, an undrafted guy made the All-Star team this year. Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the Year. Pascal Siakam, we saw the leaps that he has taken since being in the Raptors uniform. So shout out to Masai Ujiri. I think he's, you know, one of the best minds in the game of basketball.
I think it's not only was surprising when we saw that maybe Scotty Barnes elevated to that Rookie of the Year level, but I think after the departure of Kyle Lowry, a lot of folks thought, well, perhaps this Toronto Raptors team is going to be in much more of a rebuild mode, not necessarily pushing a playoff run.
No, look, it was part of, you know, getting back Precious, right, in that trade. It just, Ujiri, while we were sitting up here thinking that they were just going to be a team that was in the rebuilding mode, he had a different vision, and he proved us all wrong.
Well, the pick is in, so let's send it to Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum and see who will be headed up north.
With the 33rd pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Christian Koloko from Douala, Cameroon, and the University of Arizona.
Christian Koloko headed to Toronto. I know this was a guy that you were high on, Jay.
I think this is a really good pick. I thought Christian Koloko had first-round talent. He's a rim-protecting big guy, and his defense and his energy really stand out. You know, they played against Oregon last year. He switched off late in the game onto Will Richardson on one possession, Jacob Young on another, and guarded him the whole possession. There aren't a lot of guys his size that can do that. In fact, I think he's the only one in this draft that can do that. I think Christian Koloko brings a lot of value, especially as a second-round pick.
I agree. Very, very solid pick. Reminds me a lot of Clint Capella, a guy that's going to protect the basket. Also has enough skill to make a post move and go to work at times. But he's a live threat at the basket. I love this pick by the Toronto Raptors. I think they definitely needed the center, like old people need soft shoes.
He said, like old people need soft shoes. Well, he began playing basketball when he was 12 years old. Still, it seems a lot of development that he could have in the NBA, which is something that Toronto excels at. Oklahoma City now on the clock. Once again, we're talking a whole lot about them, but I do want to talk a little bit more. A long ways away. I mentioned that he began playing basketball at 12 years old. His journey, Jay, is just so fascinating to me.
Yeah, so many guys have had this kind of journey, and it's so fun to watch them not only have success in college, which Christian Koloko did, but, you know, playing under Tommy Lloyd, I asked him, like, how did you get Koloko to make the jump from last year to this? And the first thing he said was, we loved him. You know, when he made a mistake, we weren't jumping all over him. We were encouraging him. And he really blossomed this last year, but he's unusual in his defensive ability. A lot of times the guy that size would be talking just about shot blocking and his offensive rebounding, which he's really good. But his ability to switch off and move his feet and stay with the guard, you don't see that very often.
Well, and that's what lends in part to that Clint Capella comparison. All right, the next pick is in. We will send it back to the podium.